It's time for the One Bar and Lupaga Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupaga Show. I am One Bar, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about guys who could surprise and burst onto the scene for the Minnesota Vikings in 2020. We're going to be doing 3 of these episodes. In this episode, we are talking about Oli freaking Udoh. Before we get into that, remember, subscribe to the One Bar and Lupaga Show. Like the videos. We're here every damn day talking to anything Minnesota Vikings. All right, Oli Udoh. Oli Udoh was a round 6 small schooler big man from Elon last year that the Vikings snapped up based off of his potential, his size, his power. He's definitely was rough around the edges, still is rough around the edges, but when you get in round 6, round 7, you're looking for a diamond in the rough, and Oli Udoh was screaming that. So Oli Udoh snuck on to the Vikings 53-man active roster last year. Was kind of a surprise that he made the team, but the Vikings, I don't think, wanted to take the chance to try to sneak him onto the practice squad in fear of him getting snapped up, which was a real possibility. So Oli Udoh, he was at Elon. Like I said, he's a little bit raw. He's rawer than a Lupagus barbecue. If you ever get the chance to go to a Lupagus barbecue, stick to the chips, the beans, anything that doesn't go to the grill, because he puts his meat on the grill for about 4 to 6 seconds and takes it off, and you will get sick. And I don't mean you have a stomach ache. I mean shitting your pants and vomiting. So steer clear of the Lupagus barbecue. But yes, Udoh is raw. At Elon, he benefited from being ginormous and just tossing around some opposing defenders that really didn't pose a threat. But like I said, he's got the power, he's got the size. For the Vikings last year, he was inactive most of the season. We did get to see him week 17 start against the Bears in a game that did not matter, but it was great to see him out there. We saw him in preseason in the 3rd, 4th quarters going against 3rd, 4th teams. And, he looked all right. Definitely didn't look like a lock to make the team by any means, but so week 17, he goes against the Bears, which is no small task, going against Khalil Mack, going against that Bears defense. And he actually showed up. He played pretty damn good. Didn't give up any sacks, didn't give up any hurries, actually had a personal foul.
And let's start off this offense. Number 74. That dead ball penalty will be enforced. We have the run. 3rd down. That was a rookie Udoh.
Showing a little grit out there, which was great to see. You could definitely tell a difference from him in week 17 compared to his preseason games. He just looked a little more smoother out there, looked a little more comfortable, which was nice to see. So Oli Udoh, how could he burst onto the scene in 2020? We got to be realistic about it too, because bursting on the scene for a 6th-round small schooler in his 2nd year, to me, is pretty much locking up that backup spot on the right side. Yes, we have Rashad Hill, who's a swing tackle on either side. Yes, we drafted Ezra Cleveland, but Udoh, as long as Brian O'Neill is on the right side, is not going to get a sniff of the field. But having a very solid backup option there, which I think Udoh could be even as early as this year, is a big win for us. We need as much depth. We need as much comfortability behind our entire offensive line as we can get. And him even doing that would be great. But don't count out the fact that they might move Brian O'Neill to the left side still. Even with Ezra Cleveland in the mix, O'Neill – they're going to have to shit or get off the pot with him, whether he stays on the right side or left side. But Riley Reif is still a question mark. Our left guard, Pat Elflein, is still a question mark, so they could get fancy with that. So I'm not completely counting that out yet. But if Brian O'Neill were to go down, which, damn it, he better not. If Udoh could step in and maybe not play up to O'Neill's level, but make it a game or two, kind of like we've seen with Rashad Hill in the past, where he can kind of come in and at least help ease the pain, I think is a huge win. And I think that is having a big 2020 year where he can just solidify that. He's young and he could be on there, be along that line for the next however many years. So while this isn't a burst out season as far as making the Pro Bowl or the All-Pro, 6th-round small school guy locking up the backup spot on that right side, I consider that a big win, especially along an offensive line that is still a little scary. So Oli Udoh,